What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blitz the Books. Mikey, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, NFL was 13-3 last week. We lost our Mike Evans got injured, killed our final play on Monday night. But yeah, man, a nice 3-3 NFL week. But you've been crushing it as well. I think you went 5-0 on yeah. Yeah. It is, and myself, my members, we are coming off an 8-4 college football week for the entire week. I know you may not play a lot of midweek games. Starting to lay off a few of them here, and I know we've been having some bad midweek matchups. I played a couple on Tuesday. I split those games. So we are currently 1-1 this week. But on the show, we are now, what is that, 16-8 on the young season. That is what, good for 67% hit rate. Smoking hot. Yeah, no, this is what we did in college basketball too, if you guys, or was it college basketball? What was it that we was it MLB early on? There was one thing we went on an early run where we were like this too, and then the we started cooling off a little bit. But I think we can keep this run going. We are coming off a 4-1 week last week. I'm loving the picks this week. I'm already loving. We talked a little bit off air about what your selections were, and I'm loving both of those. So let's jump right into these. What is one of your plays? Yeah, no, absolutely love it. I also gave out this play as well. I gave out -1.5 to my members. You can grab that over on Novik for right around -120 price right now, actually. So I like this play up to -3. If Iowa State does win, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't see a blowout either way. I actually think this is going to come down to a field goal. I think we're going to be sitting on the edge of our seats, and I think Iowa State's going to kick a field goal. My model has them winning this game exactly 2 points when I ran the actual model for the game score. So something like a 26-24, 27-24, I think is where we're going to land. So I think Iowa State's going to take this game, and yeah, money line -3 up to -3 is where I would go with here. So I like this look. Yeah, my top play for the week is the first play that I gave out, and we are going to go to Georgia Tech. And I gave them out at -14.5. I'm like this all the way up to -17. My model has them winning by 17.5 actually. So if you want to get a better line on this, better odds on this line, I would go ahead and take this up to -17. -14.5 was -130 when I gave this out. I just want a little wiggle room here. Georgia Tech is in a revenge spot, so this is one of the main reasons why I actually flagged this a couple weeks ago to come back to. Georgia Tech enters this matchup riding a strong momentum. Their 2025 stats, they average right around 35 points per game, ranked around 30th in the nation, allowing just 20 points per game, which is ranked under 40th in the nation. They sit right now, strength of schedule a lot better than Syracuse, and I think the revenge narrative is very real here. Georgia Tech is in a position to win the ACC. They're in a position to make a run at the college football playoffs. I don't think necessarily a loss here will derail that, but a loss here could really hurt their overall, I guess, body of work once we get to the end of the season. Syracuse did beat Georgia Tech last season, 31-28. Um, Georgia Tech gets them back home. I think that's going to fuel a little bit of the fire here. We were on that Duke play together last week where we really thought Georgia Tech was going to drop that spot. And I mainly thought they were going to drop that spot because of this revenge spot here. I thought they might be looking ahead because this game meant a little bit more to them, and I think it will. I think Georgia Tech could easily win this game by 21. Syracuse is coming in with a backup quarterback, and I just don't think I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up offensively. The Yellow Jackets have the better quarterback in this matchup, the better team, the better defense. Take them to cover this points. Yeah, I need to get my money back from betting against them last week, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the bandwagon this week. Yeah, I just think their coaching staff they got a really well oiled machine over there. I did pick a Clemson to win the ACC this year. Hindsight, I did think about taking Georgia Tech, and that's probably one of the futures, the only future that I took in the preseason that I'm wishing I got back now. I wish I would have taken the Georgia Tech. I knew they were going to be good. I thought they'd have some hiccups, but clearly Clemson's the team that had the hiccups in the ACC this year. So, what's your? Oh, yeah, no, he's I was actually thinking. I wonder. I think his name popped up in my head for one of the coaches that may end up getting called down to Florida or Florida State or one of these bigger schools that are going to fire the coach. I think he's going to be on a short list of coaches for sure. What's your next play, my man? No, this is I'm a Texas fan, but I think this is a pretty good spot that you found here. Now, I may have to lay off it because my model's got 10 points, but my model's been a little off with these bigger line discrepancies. I like the 7.5. I absolutely think Mississippi State can keep this game close. I love the sprinkle on the money line. Arch Manning. I know everybody wants to harp on him. He's just not that guy, but I know for a fact that this offensive line has some serious issues, so I don't know what any other quarterback will be looking like in this offense. I know they brought in their backup for one of the plays that Arch was hurt, and he came in and threw a pretty nice ball. So a lot of people want to see that guy, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about Arch Manning right now, but I think the best play is just to continue to fade them. I think a play on Texas team total under is something that I was actually looking at. So I think that kind of plays in line with them. If they're going to have a team total under, I think Mississippi State can keep this thing within 7 points. So I think we're still in the same. I think we're right in line in this game, man. We'll keep this bad boy going. I'm going to go over to the South Florida and Memphis game, and I am going to take Memphis plus 6.5. Got that. I'm trying to see what I got those odds at. Minus 113 plus 6.5. I think those are pretty good odds. Looking at my model right now, my model has this game as a pick 'em, an even game. So I thought that the normal line, so taking it up to plus 6.5 to get minus 113 is fantastic value, especially when that's a 6 point difference. Um, from what my model believes this game is going to end up being. Memphis has come in as a 6.5 point underdog, but the I think the statistical profile suggests that they are playing a little bit better than what their stats show. According to cumulative team stats, Memphis has been pretty stout defensively. Um, Mainly respects to I guess their big front. They can attack. Um, they have 9.5 sacks by Jalen Bell, and I think that's going to be a big key here for Memphis to slow down this South Florida offensive attack. We saw South Florida go into North Texas and completely destroy them, put up 63 points. So I think Memphis defense is going to have to be key here, and getting to the quarterback is going to be key. Offensively, the Tigers have shown pretty good balance. They were able to overcome an 18-point deficit to Arkansas, and they ended up winning that game outright, 32-31. I do think that resilience will matter here. So getting points in a key matchup where they already beat South Florida last year. I don't really see a key revenge spot for South Florida here. Memphis is a very good team. I think they can weather the storm here. I think they can keep this game close. I'm not sure if they're going to win this game outright, but I definitely think they can keep this game within 3 points. Um, I just think this is too many points. I know South Florida's got a. The only thing that really kept what has the only thing that really kept me off this originally when it first came out was the fact that Memphis has a strength of schedule of 130. Um, I think South Florida's is right around 50 or 60, something like that. Um, that's the only thing, but I just don't think that's going to matter here. I like Memphis at home. I like what they showed in that Arkansas game, and I just think this is just too many points. Yeah, no, it's tough. I know we talked a little bit off air. Maybe this is kind of why I'm going that route. Is maybe it's more towards professional sports, but whenever one of the better players is out for a team, the rest of the team seems to rally around, and then the player that steps up in that position, they tend to either at least not lose the game for them. But I think overall the overall grand scheme of things, the team is going to step up in absence of a key player here. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think there's too many points. Appreciate that. And then let's get to my last play, which I know you are going to agree with this one as well. I'm gonna take LSU +3. I was able to get that for -117 over on Bet Rivers. Look, man, Texas A&M, obviously one of the five remaining teams in college football. They're heading into one of the most difficult places to play, and it's a night game. This is also Texas A&M's second consecutive road game after barely outlasting the Arkansas Razorbacks last week. So I think with the energy they spent last week, this is going to be a pretty tall test to go into LSU, who has underwhelmed this year to say the least. The Aggies were outgained, and they allowed 8.4 yards per carry last week, which is something that is a concern. LSU, I have looked into this, and they have not played very many good offenses this year. The two good offenses they have played, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, they lost both of those games, but both of those games were on the road. So I think coming back home, I think that's going to give them a little bit of an edge. Like you said off air, if Texas A&M loses this game, this is not going to be a detriment to them making the college football playoffs. They can win this, they can lose this game and still go to the college football playoffs. I still think they could go to the um, SEC championship game if they lose this. If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I just think this is a good spot for LSU. This is their last chance to have anything for Brian Kelly. Garrett Nussmeier, he was supposed to be one of the top 3, 5, maybe one NFL picks. I'm not sure if that's going to be where he's at anymore. I just think LSU's got everything to lose in this game, and they're at home tonight. I think this is going to be one of those games where they're going to eke out a crazy 40 44-40 type game, kind of like we saw Notre Dame and Texas A&M earlier this year. We've seen these night games, but in the SEC before where they come down to the fourth quarter. I think that's what we're gonna have here. I don't think LSU is gonna be blowing anybody out the rest of the season. I just think this is a tough spot, like you said. Texas A&M going on the road, consecutive games. I just think this is too many points. They may not win the game, but I think LSU. I think you might like LSU to win the game. I think 3 points is too many. Maybe Texas A&M pulls out a 2 point win or something, but I just don't think so. I think if you want to play LSU on the money line, a little +125 action, I think that's more than fine. Yeah, yeah, money lines come down for sure. Yeah, and listen, I don't necessarily think LSU is out of the college football playoff. I looked at their schedule earlier. If they do win out, if I don't think they're going to, but if they win out, that means they have beaten number 3 Texas A&M. Then they beat number 4 Alabama, which is next week, and then they beat number 13 Oklahoma, which I honestly think Oklahoma is going to be rated higher than 13th by the time they play them at the end of the year. So, and they still have Arkansas in the mix too, which I know they're not ranked, but that's they would have beat probably 3 top 10 teams. I think by the time they play Oklahoma, they'll be top 10. That'll be 3 top 10 teams they beat towards the end of the year. So I mean I know they've lost 2 games, but those 2 games were to number 13 Ole Miss and number 17 Vanderbilt, both on the road. So like I don't think LSU's out of it. So this is a pretty big game for them, and I know Kelly's kind of playing for his job. I don't know if he'll lose his job if they lose the next couple games, but this is a big spot for them. I think this is a perfect spot for them to win and see what they got left for the rest of the season. Yeah. When they beat Clemson, ranked number 4, and then they beat Florida, I thought, okay, I didn't think at the beginning of the year. I thought, man, LSU may be one of the SEC teams that makes it in. Once we started to see them lose to both to Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, I thought, maybe they may be 1 foot out the door. But They have a chance to back in here if they can beat these teams. I think they win this week, which sets up a massive game next week against Alabama, and then Alabama's gonna we're gonna ride Alabama in that game. Yeah, they have to. So let's go quick rundown, and we will get out of here. Mike gave out Mississippi State plus 7.5. I gave out Georgia Tech minus 14.5. I gave out Iowa State minus 2.5. I gave out Memphis plus 6.5, and then LSU plus 3. As always, we are coming off a 4-1 week last week, so if you guys can show some love, let's keep giving these winners, Mike. Let's keep cashing these, and hopefully we'll come back to a 5-0 show, baby. Have a good one.